Okay. Now that my system decided to unfuck itself... Sorry about that. We were in the middle of talking, and my PC decided to have a critical blue screen error. And commit suicide on itself. For the first time in over a year since I fixed it the last time it did this. Yay! Now, back what we were ranting about. I think you were getting mad about Tom.
No, I was defending myself because you lumped me in the same category as Tom in terms of abusing charisma.
Oh,
The only
no.
thing I abused about it was the fact that it allowed me to intimidate.
Yeah, charisma intimidation is just fucking stupid. It's, it felt just so fucking backwards to me.
Intimidate.
Yeah. It just didn't make sense to me what's so fucking.
But you can't. But you know that beautiful lady over there has to be very intimidating.
And I abused the shit out of it for Vince's campaign. I abused the absolute hell out of it.
Yes, which is why I agreed with butchering the charisma stat to fucking hell and back.
So what we were going over before, the original stats for both Pathfinder and D&D setups are Strength, Dexterity, Intelligence, Wisdom, Constitution, and Charisma. I butchered Charisma and turned it into Beauty and Eloquence. Because they need to be separate fucking things. Just because you're pretty doesn't mean you're good with your words, and good at convincing people to do things, and good at intimidating. Doesn't make any fucking sense.
Definitely not good at intimidating. However, you can convince people with just your beauty. That is indeed a thing that can happen.
Which is why beauty has its own stats for entrancing and seducing, and eloquence has the diplomacy, the bluffing, commanding, and the singing, because that needs to be a thing too. Performance vocally needs to be separate from, you know, everything else. Just because you're beautiful doesn't mean you're good with people. Just because you're good with people doesn't mean you're good looking. That's just how it's supposed to work. And on top of those stats, I also added in spirit, instinct, and faith, which all needed to be their own stats anyways. Because you have intelligence and wisdom, which focus on your, you know, spells, but that doesn't do a whole lot of good for divine casters, which are all drawn from wisdom instead of their faith, when it should be their faith. So we butchered the hell out of that, brought those in, and tried instituting a mana system, because spells need to be mana-derived instead of spells per day, because I feel that's fucking awful. I've utilized the system so many times, and I still don't like it.
Well, to be fair, it is a decent workaround to the idea of being able to basically get enough mana to basically start spamming the shit out of what would be a couple of devastating spells. Well, I don't agree with it. Well, I don't agree with it. I can understand the workaround.
Yeah. It's not a perfect solution, but at the same time, you're throttling your casters. Because if one of their spells, their primary force of attacking, they only have 3 spells per day, but they have 20 spell slots of a lower tier, shouldn't they still be able to do something? Like utilizing those lower spell slots for a higher spell? It's kind of backwards to me. Again, I understand it, and I understand the throttling of it by introducing physical components, somatic components, and verbal components, but we never use them anyways.
No.
Hello, welcome to our ranting. Thank you for the follow.
It's
You were saying?
No, I was like, no, we never use those. Cause I always thought it was just fucking dumb.
It is dumb. It's fucking tedious. No one ever wants to follow those. It's obnoxious tedium to keep wizards in line, and that's just annoying.
I get it to basically keep it from where, you know, You can't have a wizard, I don't know.
Bombing
Just
entire villages.
Yeah, you
Stupid
can't have
shit
someone.
like that.
Yeah, you just can't have someone basically, again, snowball very easily. But at the
Mhm.
same time, it's a ridiculous system that when people aren't going to try to just, be a jackass and instantly have all their best spells ready immediately.
I
Makes
mean,
it
with
to where,
some spell cases, it makes sense. Something as powerful as Wish or Resurrection, you need some, physical components. Having those,
yeah, obviously.
massive diamonds in order to resurrect one of your party members makes sense. It should cost something.
Yeah,
But-
obviously should cost something, but not fucking. If I want to cast a spell that's, I don't know, fucking wizard level 2, I shouldn't have to go around looking for literally, I don't know, tree sap, a goblin's tail, and a fucking dragon's tooth.
Yeah, to be able to cast a fireball, you somehow have to compound and keep mass quantities of bat shit, because that's an actual component for casting a fireball. You're throwing
Yeah.
a piece of bat shit at someone, and it starts into a fireball. That's how the spell works in D&D.
I mean, you said,
I
set
get
on
it.
Fire.
Yeah, pretty much. But butchering that and turning it into just a mana system, which is dependent on what the character does instead of what all of these extra components require, makes a little more sense to me.
We're gonna work on not only adjusting that, but adjusting spells to account for that too, right?
Exactly. So some spells will still require physical components as part of what the spell says you need, rather
Yeah,
than
like, obviously.
just physical components being a thing that are always required. Some spells are going to require something very specific.
Yeah, like obviously Wish being a good example. You're not gonna be able to just spam Wish.
No, abso-fucking-lutely not. That just
Honestly,
makes no sense.
honestly-
whatsoever.
Wish should probably be like the top tier of bullshit you need to get through in terms of being able to cast, because it's, well, Wish.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not casting a spell that is hopeful. You're casting the spell Wish, as in I wish this happens.
Yeah, pretty much. Then we also had that the class system that we were working on, and I did had a few more details since the last time we talked about it. But the last time we talked about this was 7 or 8 months ago. When we
No,
last were...
the last time we talked about it was it was when we were hanging out with me, you, Rob, Weston,
Right.
and Brendan, because it was I know it was me, you, and Rob, because you were showing it off to Rob when we were talking about it then.
Yeah. So that was like at least 6 months ago, because that was still in my old apartment.
No, that was at your current place.
Oh, that's right. It was like 3 months ago then.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to restart the campaign with this system in order to get more playtesting out of it, and that just didn't happen yet. But we did have the class system that we're working on too. So instead of just picking a class and going and leveling it up, you evolve in a sense, just like Fire Emblem characters do. I mean, there's obviously no item requirement, but once you hit a certain level threshold, if you have a stat threshold to become a different class, you can do so.
Yep.
Or at least if you fit in a specific category. So you start out as one of 4 classes, which can become any number of... What is it? 4 times 4 is 16 classes. And then they each have 2 more classes that they could become further down the line of that, and then they advance again into epic tier classes. And by that point, you're just killing gods. You're just unbelievable.
Fucking believable.
Yeah, pretty much. So if you have a Scrapper, which is one of the 4 basic classes, and you advanced into a Fighter, gain all those abilities, advanced into the next step, which could be a Warrior or Survivalist, You become a survivalist, you gain all those abilities, and then when you go epic tier, you become a war walker. And the war walker ability is simply put, undying. Unless you take your full con score below 0, you heal to 1 HP and regain consciousness on the next round. That's... you're unkillable. That's straight up. Or if you end up becoming a swordsman, like a cut purse, and then you become, like, let's see here, a rogue or a ninja, and then you can become a duelist, which is a type of one-on-one swordsman, and then they advanced into a sword master. They gain the ability called Blade Storm. You get 5 hits in one round at plus 3d10 per hit with a 15 to 20 crit range. It's just, you slaughter fucking everything. Well, one thing with insane amounts of damage. Stuff like that. I wanted this system to feel like you're a badass without all of the tedium of tying you down with feats and excessive numbers of abilities. I wanted it to be a more roleplay-centric system. So, you grab a class, you grab a race, you roll your stats, and you're done. Instead of writing down dozens upon dozens of things. I even had a character sheet layout already designed up. It's shitty, but it works. I mean, it's not perfect. By no means is it perfect.
No, if it was ever perfect, then there would be no reason not to always use it for everything. Nothing should ever be considered perfect.
No, by no means. I mean, you just need to write down basics. Of course, there's always a lot of equipment slots. 2 melee weapons, a hidden away weapon, your ranged weapon, and that's it. You don't get to carry like 80 fucking guns, like in any shooter. You get a shield, armor, head, body, feet, necklace, right hand, left hand slots.
You can't say like in any shooter. I wish I could carry 80 guns in every shooter. I would never have to choose.
The Doomslayer.
The Doomslayer is a man who can carry as many guns as he wants, because who's the fuck gonna tell him no?
That's also true. No, I mean like your character in my initial campaign for the Regenda story, where you were legitimately carrying around 7 or 8 swords at your hip, because you were using all of them.
Hey, it's called being very good at utilizing all of them. And you also gave me one that was very awkward for me to use.
All of them, yeah.
Well, no, the fucking longsword.
Oh, absolutely. When you give a fucking rapier class a longsword, and they can't use their dexterity for it. Abso-fucking-lutely, I love that.
Well, I legit, because I remember it was that session where there's the longsword high, you know, on the fucking pedestal or whatever, and you're like, only one who is worthy can grab. Yeah, only one who is worthy can grab it. I'm the literal last person. I go, fuck, I'm going to get it, aren't I? Literally rolls into getting it. Rolls into getting it. Fuck! You had stated I didn't plan for anyone to actually get this. That's your first mistake.
Well, the dice like you people, and I hate it, because the sheer number of times I rolled 100 percentiles on things that weren't supposed to fucking happen is silly.
Yes, very
Fuck
silly.
you guys.
Whoa, okay, fine. The sword thing, I'll give you. I didn't need it.
There was a lot of other instances that you guys didn't need something, and I rolled a percentile on it and got it anyways, yeah.
Yeah,
I was a very forgiving god, and I should not have been.
Well, no, you shouldn't have been. I told you don't do everything that we want. You're just gonna make it get worse. And guess what happened? It just
and Ha made it worse. Exactly. Let's see here.
That's how we also ended up spending...
What?
I was gonna say that's how we also ended up spending about an hour in a fucking town that got burned literally not too long after.
Oh, absolutely. I enjoyed the shit out of that. Waste my goddamn time.
Wasted my goddamn time.
Let's see here. Instead of proficiencies, we also have the scaling system for weapons. So you can be proficient in any weapon you want for any class you want. So if you want to be a rogue who uses a warhammer, more fucking power to you. Sneak attack those bitches with a warhammer. I would love to see it.
Because technically speaking, no matter what, an assassin could technically go around wielding a warhammer. You just have to be a really dope assassin.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why a proficiency system is in place instead of just your class can use these.
Your class can use blades. Your class can use daggers. You can use, as I've learned with Micah's class.
So if you want to be a badass fucking swordsman, but you're actually using a great axe, by all fucking means. I want to see someone EI Jutsu with a war axe. Just
what?
Just a great axe. Sorry.
Oh yeah, fucking Micah's character in the one he's trying to make for your other campaign. In Pathfinder, currently he is an alchemist with the capability of utilizing a fucking heavy crossbow. And I was like, well, I mean, it's at least fun that you can do it if you want, but
yeah,
not just that.
It's just really entertaining to see like a 4 or 5 foot
4 or 5
catfolk.
No, 4 foot. I'm sorry, just pure 4 foot.
Just a 4 foot catfolk wielding a crossbow that's about 2.5 feet in length. Just over half of her fucking size, and it's just a crossbow. It's ridiculous to me, and I love it.
Recoil.
Absolutely. Just abso-fucking. I love it. Let's see here. Splitting up the skill system so that every one of the stats has its own skills. Because some of them make more sense than just utilizing the same 3 stats for every skill check. It's either intelligence, dexterity, or strength for almost all of them. Or charisma, and that just annoyed the crap out of me.
Charisma.
So, having strength with its own skills, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, con. Con's only skill right now is still resisting poison. I can't think of any other ones right now.
Shit.
I couldn't think of any new ones for a while, anyways. Like, what else do you need your constitution to do for a skill check? Because most other feats against you are going to be either strength,
resisting arrest.
Resisting arrest. No, that's strength. So, let's see here. Strength, I currently have force, so instead of rolling skill checks, like off of your actual stats, you roll a force check for a strength check. Your literal capability of pushing or pulling something, or lifting something. Climbing, swimming, possibly forge. I mean, it's not really fitting most other places. Dexterity, obviously you have acrobatics, ride, perform, strength, or not strength, stealth, and sleight of hand. Intelligence, you have all your knowledge checks and your deciphering checks. So, solving puzzles and stuff like that. If you're not actually physically smart enough yourself, your character might roll high enough to solve the problem anyways. Wisdom, we have street smarts. Because street smarts and knowledge are 2 very, very different things. Survival, sense motive, and perception. Perception needs to come from your wisdom, not your intelligence or anything else. Con has resist poison. Spirit checks are attunement and willpower. So,
to win.
If your spirit is high enough, you can keep yourself alive at near-death situations rather than just muscling through it. Your spirit would make a lot more sense with that. And attuning implies exactly what it sounds like. You're attuning yourself spiritually to the world around you to sense something or anything along those lines. Because it's mostly your sixth sense is what the real implication is.
What was that?
So, So you can hear, or so you can notice something without physically hearing or seeing it. You just feel it. Beauty has entrance and seduce checks for obvious fucking reasons. To draw someone's attention or to make them do something you want them to do.
It is obviously the only skill checks that matter.
It's an alternative to diplomacy that works. And the sad part is it works. A lot.
Well, of course it works.
Eloquence has diplomacy, bluff, command, which is just flat out convincing someone to do something for you, or ordering someone to do something for you. Singing, which, you know, makes a lot of sense. Instinct, which is one of the other stats, also has a sense check. So compared to the spiritual check, so rather than it being a spiritual level, it's on a physical level. So noticing things around you that you normally wouldn't. And an adaptation check. So you're in a terrain that you're not accustomed to. You roll an adapt check to become accustomed to. It's comparable to rough terrain on D&D. So if you walk on rough terrain, you have movement penalties and stuff like that. But with an adapt check, you would be able to roll high enough to negate those effects. You adapt to the terrain around you. Or other situations like extreme heat, extreme cold, things like that. And then lastly, we had the faith checks. So healing, which would be your physical capability of healing someone else, with spells or otherwise. Cure checks, which involve like poisons and other ailments, diseases, things like that. And then your religious knowledge, which that just makes sense. Let's see here. I remember we tweaked it so that the mana system is drawn. Your mana total is your intelligence mod plus your spirit mod plus half of your level. Does that still sound balanced in a sense? Or should I have other factors put into it?
I mean, if you want to put other factors considering into it, then yeah, probably. Should think about it a little bit more. Obviously,
it was a simple basis. Like, should I add like a plus 10 to start or something like that? I mean, we have classes like the basic mage class automatically gains the mana weft. Remember, they get 1 per level per round mana back. So they're still gaining mana faster than anything else.
The question is, do we want them to have the ability to start utilizing a little bit more of the easy stuff just off the bat?
Yeah.
Or do you want them to have to work for everything and then, you know, have a sense of, what did they say again? Pride and accomplishment when they get to that point.
Pride and accomplishment. Things that our players don't know. They're proud of the bullshit they pull, not the bullshit they accomplish, not the things you want them to do. Let's see here. We're actually pushing up the half hour already. If we include the blue screen of death I put up with. I don't even know what caused it. It just said it had a critical error and shut down in the middle of talking.
Critical failure.
Sounds like mine. Well, we did talk about maneuvers. So, like the grapple checks and stuff?
Yeah.
So instead you have maneuver checks that you can make based on what you want to do. So grappling, entangling something, pushing them, tripping them, throwing them, crushing them. Or once you have them grappled, they got the throw, the crush, the strangle, and the pin. And then the defenses. I hate AC. I don't know anybody who likes the AC system in D&D or Pathfinder. Armor class just makes everything so fucking annoying to deal with. Oh, what's that? This thing is wearing no armor, but it has an AC higher than you can hit anyway. It makes no sense. So we instituted the fact that armor does not make you harder to hit. It makes you take less damage when they hit you. Armor is damage reduction, not AC. Good gods, do I hate AC. And then, of course, we have it... We're testing out something that's a little bit different. So instead of in combat, when you attack in D&D and Pathfinder, you roll an attack against the character's AC. This is no longer the case. It is an active system rather than a passive one. You and the person you're attacking both roll an attack against their choice of blocking or dodging. And yeah. So whoever rolls higher wins out. And then damage is calculated after that.
Yeah, I figured.
Special classes or special weapons also have the option of a redirect. So, yeah. Mostly monks. Monks get redirects. They can take your sword and send it in an opposite direction. And then, of course, the defenses against the grapple stuff is your untangle, you're reversing a grapple, or overpowering. Yeah. That's a pretty big overview of what we're working on. So we have the classes, and then we have the races. The races are a bit more widespread. We have a lot of races. Because you have your basic race, and then you have a sub-race. Which, some classes have a lot of sub-races, or races have a lot of sub-races. And some of them don't. So the basic races we have are humans, elves, dwarves, soul, which are your angelics, Dave, which is your devils, minor races like halflings and gnomes, tribal races like goblins and orcs, elemental races, beast folk, fae folk, and legends. Currently the only one under their legend category is dragonkin. Because of fucking course they are. It's the only thing that makes sense for them.
I mean, they are dragonkin.
They are fucking dragons, yeah. Somebody fucked a dragon, and the dragonkin are born. I'd say the dragonborn are born, but because that makes less sense. But that's what Dungeons and Dragons calls them. And I can't copyright. I will get in a lot of trouble for that.
Dragonborn. Dragons. Dragons. Just dragons.
Just dragons. My sister's sending me pictures of my cat, because the cat has not been eating well since her... We are not making a donkey dragon hybrid. Keep your Shrek fantasies out of my Dungeons and Dragons. My sister's being a smartass. Of course she's in the chat here harassing me. But yeah, humans, we got purebloods and half-bloods. Elves, we have forest elves, urban elves, which are, you know, they're born in cities instead of in the forest. Don't even finish that second sentence. Don't even she said it anyway.
I'm guessing you didn't hear what I said.
No, I didn't. What?
I said, you said they're elves that are born in cities, and I said, so they're race traders.
Wow. Wow. Okay, Corey. I was getting to the dark elves, but that was a little too fucking dark for me. You know what? I have a button for this. That's you. That's what you sound like, Corey.
I have done nothing wrong.
Bitch, don't tell me what to do!
Pretty much.
Moving
Look,
on.
It's true.
Moving on. I don't give a shit about high elves, so those are not going to be a thing in my world. In my system. So we got forest elves, urban elves, and dark elves. So you're
You
drow.
technically already have them, because urban elf, that's what an urban elf is essentially, except for, less pompous.
Yeah, I guess. Far less pompous. Fucking high elves. So dwarves, we have the mountain dwarves, the desert dwarves, and the deep dwarves. So the dwarves who've never seen the light of day. The dark
You got
dwarves.
you get your dwarf dwarves, your dwarf dwarves, and your
The
dwarf
dwerger.
dwarves.
Yeah, the dwerger. That's what they call
know-
them in the other systems.
And,
The
your
s-
super dwarves.
So the soul, we have the angelic and the light touched. The ones that are literally part angel, and the ones who have been blessed by angels. Somewhere
The
in
one-
their lifetime. Or in their history of their
Blessed.
family.
Yes, blessed. That's what we're calling it.
Blessed.
Now show me on the doll where the angel touched you.
No. Then we have
Come
the
on.
Dave, which are your demon your demon borns. We have the demonic, which are tieflings. The tainted, which are the exact opposite of the light touched. Where did the devil touch you?
I'll tell you where
And-
the devil touched him.
And then the
And the whole
Shadowborn,
that
which are your Shatter Kai equivalents. So fuck, the name of the world slipped my mind now. Because you have the normal world, you have the Fae, and then you have something else. The Shadow equivalent. I don't
Oh,
remember what
fuck.
it's called.
He's here now.
I have returned.
Quick, hide your
Oh,
fucking
alright.
cat.
I'm back.
Uh,
I was here a little while ago.
I know you were.
Yeah, we're just finishing up my bullshitting about my stream and my my D20 engine. So we had the Dave races, Demonic, Tainted, and Shadowborn. Minor
Yep.
races, we currently have halflings and gnomes. I can't
Fuck
really
the
think of any
gnome.
other mid. Huh?
I said nothing racist about halfling and gnome.
Corey.
Moving on then. Tribal races, the only ones I have down are goblins and orcs right now. Obviously,
Okay, hang on.
hobgoblins would be like a subset of goblin,
Fucking
but
skin.
Okay,
God.
Nick.
Okay, Nick.
that
Hey,
means
this-
nothing to my stream, so...
This is
Um,
different, okay?
So the elemental races are obviously the ones that are half elemental. So you got the Ignis, the Aquis, the Stormel, the Tyrannic, and the Tempest.
You know,
So off of the 5 base elements.
the ones that had the ones that had a bard fuck a literal element.
Yes. Or had someone fucked by an element. Either
Bard.
way. The Bard.
It's
It's always the
Bard.
Bard. The Bards are the reason behind all half races in existence. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise. It'd be untrue. They're trying to cover up the conspiracy. Bards are behind every half race in existence. Including the next one, the Beast Folk. So these ones are kind of neat because they're not like half beasts. They're anthropomorphic, and they can transform into humans. So they have a human form and an anthropomorphic form. So we have the wolves, foxes, bears, boars, tigers, birds, and the sharks. So those are the only ones we have right now. And they're anthropomorphic, so they're not, they don't fully transform into that animal. They just transform halfway. So you got your werewolves, your werefox, stuff like that. But they do it at will. So when they're in human form, they take huge, huge negatives to their actual stats. And then when they transform, they gain massive amounts of stats, but they also lose their intelligence and their beauty stats and stuff like that. Their metaphysical stats. The Fey folk, currently I have mermaids, ents, nymphs, nagaji, and catfolk. Because I can't really think of any other ones that would make sense.
Hey, as long as you got mermaids, you've clicked one niche
Good,
for people.
good fucking luck using a mermaid on land. It'll take you a little while. And then, of course, we have the legend types, which are just the dragonkin currently.
Listen, the mermaid will take forever to get anywhere, but
You
A
would
lot of
know,
people-
wouldn't you, Corey?
I didn't use it. I did not use that.
Sounds
I
like
did
you
not
used
use-
it.
No, I was a fucking I was a lizard tail race in a different campaign we did though.
I'm talking about Weston's old campaign, where one
That's
of
the one
us
I'm
was an actual unable
Yeah.
to walk on land aquatic.
Wasn't unable to walk on land. It
Get
was
this man a giant
welcome
tub
back.
of water.
It was very difficult, not unable. I wasn't, handicapped. I was just a little bit slower.
You were struggling. You struggled
It was-
a lot. Especially when
hard-
a Drake showed up and almost killed all of us.
Hey.
Again.
I legitimately save lives because I can call lightning from anywhere. Literally
That's
just
true.
out of my ass.
We're literally in a fucking cave at the bottom of a lake. This man can call lightning. Just out of fucking nowhere. We've done a lot of stupid things in our campaigns. I will admit that much.
That is like a fucking rule. We need to have something stupid happen, otherwise the campaign is not.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's most of the points I have for the dice engine. It's just ironing out the small details and playtesting it and getting people to actually play it is the difficult part. And then ironing things out from there. But then again,
Yeah,
we're
I
having a
think-
hard enough time getting people together for a D&D campaign in the first place. So,
Generally speaking.
What? Wait,
Because-
for what?
because this
Fifth
nerd
gen
started up
or
a Starfinder
Pathfinder?
campaign and didn't even invite me.
I invited you. Or I'm
You
sorry,
never
no, hang
told
on,
me
hang
it
on,
was
no,
happening.
hang on. I said you to the wrong person. I invited Corey, and then Corey suggested you, and then I told him to invite you, and then Corey never played with us.
You never told me what we were doing. I have
Yeah.
no invites to anything. Like
This is how
after
our
I
campaigns
talked
go.
about it,
I remember
Never
this
made-
argument. I remember this argument because I accidentally told you it was Pathfinder instead of Starfinder. Then you made your character, and I was like, "Oh, my bad, bro." And you're like, "Are you kidding?" And I was like, "No."
No. I made the Pathfinder character, but you told me, oh no, I meant Starfinder. I was like, all right, fine, whatever. Just tell me like the details of everything that happened, what's gonna happen, and what not, so I can make the character for it. And
Yeah.
I got basic details, and I was asking for more, and then like literal nothing about it. I have no fucking knowledge of anything else you did. I did mention, hey, you should invite Troy. I remember that because I was like, yeah, that'd be a good idea. He loves doing this D&D shit. But then you didn't say a goddamn word to me about it afterwards. I occasionally brought it up in a joking manner, but I also bring up my own Starfinder campaign in a joking manner. Because much like the fucking Titanic, that thing sank like a goddamn rock.
I miss that campaign. I really do. It was fun as hell to be what we were doing. It wasn't fun to deal with Nurgle, but you know,
It's really
No one likes to deal with Nurgle. Let's not.
no
talk
one
about
likes
that.
to deal with Nurgle.
well because this is my first time actually DMing, and I have a character. I have a person that's their first time playing D&D, and I have one more person that's new-ish to D&D. They've played a little bit, but not much. So it's like baby steps, you know. Like my campaign
thank you
is
for
dead in
the
the fucking
comment,
water
Banner.
right now.
I saw I got an email for it. I don't get comment notices. I do get, posts or messages through YouTube, but I don't get comment notices on my Mob Crusher. Anyway, that's probably enough for today. I'm sure we'll be on in a little while here streaming something stupid at
Probably.
some point today. Other than
Probably.
that, I hope everybody's doing good, and I will talk to you all later. Bye,
Damn,
nerds.
that maestro just AA 12 3 people.
Bye.